Hey guys and girls, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Feed the Beast Infinity with myself, Lewis. Hope you're brilliant, having yourself a great day as always. Now in the last episode we started setting up our thalmic energistics around our magical domain right here, making sure that all our aspects are being transferred into a storage right here, so that we can do all that. So I've been placing items inside these hoppers and feeding it in there. You know, you could use cables and things, but hoppers are just as easy. And it's pretty much just random things I've been throwing in there and melting up inside our alchemical furnace and getting transferred into here. So you can see, you know, we haven't got all of them in there, but we've got a decent amount for now. Now, I've also built a little place over here with some of these node devices, and we're going to be going over these today. Not too much, but we're going to go over them a little bit, and then we're going to make something inside our infusion altar, which I think is going to be pretty cool. I've never played with it before, so I'd like to see how it works. And we've also got this line in here, because we're going to be using it at some point, but I don't know if we're going to do it today, because I need to get myself a decent energized node. It's another thing that I did do is I wasn't going to do this. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I've got a ME controller right here. I decided to go with it. I was like, well, you know what? Alright, we've got loads of networks going off over this way. I used 6 or 7, 8 networks just over there. So that was completely filled up just over this side. If you have a look at this one here, you can see that we're using all of the lines in here. So we have 2 of these little lines. Like that. But for you guys that don't know, the ME controller can support 32 lines on each side of the ME controller. So I should really move this one here onto here. But that one's supporting this side anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. But yeah, I did that. I thought it'd just, you know, it'd make life easier. I don't have to worry about it then. Don't have to try and constrain myself to using a certain amount of lines. So that's what I've done there. Now I've also made a couple of things off camera before we go and make our way into the overworld. I made myself, if we have a look, you see inside here, a Infusion Provider. Yes, and I'm pretty sure you guys know what that is. It kind of gives it away in the name. But if we have a look inside here in the thalmic energistics, you'll see that we have this guy here, the Infusion Provider. And we're going to be using this today for our infusion and being able to access the different aspects that are inside our network. So that's how we're going to do that. Now let me quickly run you through nodes, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to go grab ourselves some nodes, because I've learned down here the node in a jar, which allows us to move jars which have nodes in them, which is pretty cool, you know. And we're going to use that over here to make ourselves some decent energized nodes. That's going to be the plan. So let's make our way into the overworld. I don't think there's any nodes in this area. I've looked around but haven't managed to find any. So we're going to take our little tush over into the overworld and grab ourselves a couple from there. I think we can grab 2 at the minute. I have 2 wands, both filled up. Well, one of them's a little bit filled up and the other one is fully filled up, so we should be able to do that. But we want to try and find 2 nodes that have a decent amount of one type of aspect in it, and preferably primal. That will do. That is straight away a alright node. Let's have a look at this one. Now, nodes are biome dependent, and, well, there we go. There's the other 2. That's making life a million times easier for me. Lovely jubbly. Alright, well, we'll grab these 2 nodes. Why not? So let's just dig all of this out the way. Here we go. So, some of you guys might not know how this works or why we're doing this. I'm going to try and run you through it, just so you know what I'm talking about, because I'm running through this farmcraft stuff fairly fast. And the reason behind that is because I recently, I kind of did a series on it up until the point in which the dimension was added. So, the reason we're kind of going through it fairly fast is I don't want to go back over all of that, but I would like to make sure that you still understand what I'm talking about to a degree. So, we can harness nodes, we can collect nodes, and we do it just like this, but obviously we have to have the research done first. So, we make ourselves a giant jar, like so, and then we grab our wand and we go poof. And it gives us a very nice node in a jar. When you do this, though, there is a small chance that you could damage the node inside the jar. So you do need to be a little bit careful about that. But yeah, generally 9 times out of 10, it works just fine. Now, I have got another wand inside here so that we can do this. Cool. And you may be wondering, why don't I just make a better wand? Pretty much because I've been beelining for all of the progression stuff, so that when we do start making bigger stuff, or the more expensive stuff with Farmcraft, it's a little bit easier. So let's get another one right here like this. Cool. And let me explain how nodes work for those of you that don't know. So each node can have different type of aspects in it, and the aspects are dependent on the biome that you find the node in. So if you want to find yourself a fiery node, then you want to go to a warm climate biome, or you can go to the Nether. The Nether's generally a pretty good place for that. Poof, there we go. And with nodes, if nodes are close to each other, they're actually going to feast on each other. I know it sounds a little bit weird, doesn't it? But they are going to... Oh, we got a pale node right there, so that guy's going to need to be looked after a little bit, but... yeah. So when nodes are near each other, they're going to feast on each other. And what they're going to do is they're going to eat the aspects of the nodes near them. And doing so, they can actually gain the aspects of the node near them, which is pretty cool, you know. So that means that we can make a node which has every type of primal aspect in it. And there are some nodes that have the aspects that are joined, the primal aspects that are joined. I've completely forgotten the name of it now. Let's quickly have a look, because I'm losing the plot right here. Compound aspect, that's the one, yeah. So when you have two primal aspects mixed together, you get a compound aspect, and then you can mix compound with primal and compound, and that's basically how it works. But primal aspects are your kind of bread and butter aspects, and doing so, we're going to be able to make sure that we can make a node that has one of all types of primal aspects in it. But this is where these guys come in, the advanced node stabilizers, and there are regular node stabilizers as well. These allow us to monitor the nodes and make sure that they're not being eaten themselves. Because nodes will eat each other, and you will eventually have what's known as a dominant node. Now, from the get-go, you can find out what the dominant node is by just adding up the numbers of the amount of aspects in it. So you can see this one has 23 and 24, this one has 34 and 40, so this would be the dominant node. So this is probably the node that would end up eating that one, and in the long run, it would get the Aqua and Terra in it, so we'd end up with an Air, Ordo, Aqua, Terra. But we want to make sure that if we add any other nodes down, that every node is not going to be able to eat our main node. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this guy on here, and we're going to give it a slap, just like that. And this advanced node stabilizer is now going to, well, it's going to stabilize that node. But what it's going to do is it's going to allow this node to be able to eat other nodes, but the other nodes are not going to be able to eat this node. Very important. There is an earlier version of this just known as a node stabilizer. I think I have one over here. Let's have a look. Node stabilizer. Oh, there it is. Yeah, cool beans. So the, oh no, that's a regular one. Have we got a regular one? There it is, node stabilizer. So what that guy does is it stops that node from being eaten, but it also stops the node from being able to eat from other nodes. So if you want a node to be completely untouchable, but it can't touch other nodes, you put it in a regular one. The good thing with the advanced node stabilizer is this node can still feast on other nodes, but they can't feast on it, which is exactly what we want. So if we do that like that, this node is going to be able to eat from this node, but this node is not going to be able to eat from this node, and that's what's very important. So we're going to eventually end up with one node here that's going to have Aqua, Terra, and it will have Ordo and Air in it, and it will be able to eat in all of these. So we're eventually going to have ourselves one node that's going to have all the different types of primal aspects in it, and that's exactly what we need, because we're going to be using that node to charge our wand that's inside our system over here. So we've got this node inside, we've got the wand inside here. We want to make sure that this one stays charged up so that we can do any of the arcane crafting that we want to do without having to worry about taking it out and putting it in a wand recharge pedestal. You can still use a wand recharge pedestal, but this is just a much easier way of doing it, I find. And we're probably not going to set it up today, because we need to make sure that we have a decent node that we can then turn into a charge node so that we can use Vis Relays to transfer the power into our network via the P2P networks. So that's going to be that, but that's probably what we're going to do in the next episode. I want to get some more nodes between this and the next one to make sure that we do make a big fat node in the middle here, so we have a decent one that can be energized. I'm probably going to do one here, and I'm probably going to do one here as well. So we'll have two advanced nodes that have one of all types of primal aspects and are able to make sure that our wands stay nice and recharged. So that's the plan right there. So we're going to leave this here, and we're just going to let it do its thing. Cool beans. So, let's do a little bit of arcane crafting, shall we? Or a little bit of infusion, because I'm excited to show you this, because this is what we was talking about in the last episode. So this item down here, the Infusion Provider, is what's going to allow our Infusion Altar to gain the aspects that are inside our network. So I'm sure some of you are kind of rubbing your heads in the last episode thinking, well, how are you going to access these without, are you going to have to take them out and put them in jars? No, we don't have to do that. I did have to do that before to make some of these bits, but you don't have to do that now. So we're going to put this guy underneath our altar. You can put it anywhere as long as it's near your altar. So that's what you need. And let's get ourselves a couple ME cables. We're just going to want some regular ME cables. Those will do. Cool. And we're going to plug this in. And this is now going to be able to accept all of this. So if we do you like that. Cool. Now we're going to be able to pull the aspects out of our system and be used inside our infusion crafting. Hopefully. I've only done this a couple of times, so I need to make sure that we're doing it right. But hopefully by the end of this episode, when we come back, we should be able to see that these have been munched on a little bit. That's the plan. I'm hoping I've got it in the right node stabilizer, but we'll come back and check at the end of the episode. Alright, so what we're going to make now is a little bit of forbidden magic, because I quite like that mod. I would like to check it out a little bit more, and I found a wand that could be very useful for us, because we're going into Britannia a fair bit, and I'm soon going to be upgrading my power system so that we have a lot more power than we currently have. And we're going to have lots of excess mana. We're going to need something to do with that mana. So I was thinking, well, let's turn that mana into Vis, which is insane. Sounds like a cool plan to me. So if we have a look inside here, inside our Apocorifia, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong every time. We have access to Livingwood, Cores, and Mana Steel caps. I bought the research for these, which is good. We've also got ones for Blood Magic, but we're not really going into that just yet. So in here we can see that this requires one of all type of the first tier 1 and tier 2 of runes plus Livingwood, and a mana diamond. It's got minor instability, so you know it's fairly easy. So let's read this out. Livingwood has the fantastic ability to manipulate mana when combined with the right regents. It can even convert mana into Vis. The Livingwood wand will quickly draw mana from storage items in your inventory in order to charge itself. So anything like a mana tablet or a ring of mana is what you need. The infusion process burns the Livingwood out. Unfortunately, once infused, the wand rod must be charged in a mana pool in order to be reawakened. So I think we're going to have to reawaken it in a pool, which, you know, that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? But there is that. So the next thing is the Mana Steel cap. So obviously we can place any caps we like on top of that, but Mana Steel look like the better one. So Mana Steel has very useful properties when it comes to mana manipulation. When crafted into a wand cap, it offers a 90% vis rate. If combined with a wand that can consume mana, like the rod we were just looking at, it also makes the mana conversion process more efficient. In order to be used in the creation of a wand, the inert Mana Steel caps must be infused in a mana pool. So like we would generally do with the Thalmic rods and the caps, we need to make sure that we infuse the caps. We're going to be doing this in a mana pool, because, you know, we're kind of playing with Britannia stuff here, and I like the way that it breaches the gap between the two mods. I find that very cool. So we're basically going to want one of every type of these. Here we go. And I did grab myself one of these as well. So we've got all the ones that we need here. We're also going to need a mana diamond, so let's get one of these guys. And it's always the way. You never have what you want, do you? There we go. So we'll grab you, and we're also going to want a piece of Livingwood. There we go. Good stuff. And this should do it for us. And hopefully we have enough aspects as well. We should probably check that before we do this to make sure that we have enough in there. So we want 32 Arbor and 8 Herber. Let's have a look in here. We've got 100 Arbor, 24 Herber, so we got that. That's good. We need 16 Procantio, 8 Census, and Victus. So 16 Procantio and Victus and Census. Let's have a look. 50 Procantio, 16 Victus, and 25 Census. Yep, looks like we've got everything that we need inside here, which is great. So let's go and place these down. Now, like any other type of Thalmic infusion that we do, we want to make sure that we try and evenly place out the items that we're going to be putting on the pedestals. So let's start by doing it on the sides like this. I kind of always do it this way. And then we'll go on the other side like this. And you can just place them down wherever you like, but if you don't have them symmetrical, then you end up kind of having a little bit of instability that maybe you don't want. So we'll do that, and let's do this side as well. So we'll do you on here, and you can go here. And then we have a Rune of Earth and a Mana Diamond, which we can just do here. Let's put you there, and we'll pop you there. Sweet. And I think it's just a Livingwood. Let's just double check to make sure we've got it right. Yeah, we just need some Livingwood, and we are good to go. So we'll pop you there. I really hope this works. Like, it's been a long time since I've played with this guy under here, and this could go horribly wrong. So please, please work. Oh, it's getting it. Look, it's getting the aspects it needs. Oh, that's amazing. Let's have a little look. You see inside here. What's the one that we need? Procantio. Some 34. Victus. We needed 16 Victus, didn't we? Let's see if we can watch it go down, because it's one that it needs to accept. There it is. You can see it going down. How cool is that? It's amazing. And once it's got all of the aspects it needs, it's going to move on to the items. It's pretty loud. I'm just going to stay back a little bit. But we have enough of the crystals and the candles, so hopefully negate any type of bad juju that we might have. Plus, it's only minor, so it should be just fine. But I love how that item underneath works just fine, this guy under here. Now, like I say, you don't have to have that underneath the actual altar itself. You could have it above it, you can have it over here somewhere. I just think kind of, you know, having it out of the way looks quite neat, doesn't it? So, yeah, here we go. I think we've only got a couple left. And we should have... There it is. Well, hey! Cool beans. Alright, so we've got ourselves a dormant Livingwood rod. Now, if we make our way over here, according to what is said in the book, we have to dip it inside some mana, and that will allow us to be able to do this. So if we grab you, and we pop it in there, there we go, we got a Livingwood rod, nice. And we're also going to want some mana steel ingots. Now, we need to make mana steel nuggets. And I'm guessing we do it like this. No. Oh, we have to do it inside here, don't we? Alright, let's bring it over here. And I think we have enough inside here. Yeah, it looks like we do. So we can do that. There we go. So there's one. And we need to do one more. Cool, cool. And I wonder how much this is going to cost us to actually make this rod. Because they're generally fairly expensive. Let's go and make sure that we activate these mana steel caps as well. So let's throw you inside here. There we are. So those are now regular mana steel caps, not inert ones. And let's see how much it's going to cost us. I might have to go and get myself some more inside here. So you, and you, and you, and we actually have enough. It's 57. Yeah, pretty cool. Nice. A mana steel entwined Livingwood wand. Boom. Sweet. So this has the same capacity as these guys here, 100, which is nice. But can you see it going up? How cool is that? So the whole thing itself is slowly going up. And it's using the power that we have inside our band of mana. So you can see that it's using our mana down here. You can see that slowly going down. And it's converting it into Vis for us. So we can use that for getting ourselves more nodes. Very, very cool. Although, we will probably need to make sure that we keep this topped up in all cases. So let me go and grab you. And let's do this. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, is that draining it out? I think it's draining it out. Let's turn this one around. There we go. Which one has the most in it? That has a fairly decent amount. Yeah, it's not bad. Oh, that's got loads in it. Let's do you. There we go. I'm pretty sure a ring can hold half that of a mana pool. Or it might be a quarter. I know the mana tablet can hold half. I think the ring might be the same. It takes a tablet in the recipe, doesn't it? So you kind of think it did. Which isn't bad. So I wonder how much mana it takes to fully fill up this mana steel entwined Livingwood. It's already on 21, so that's pretty good. There we go. And we also get a bit of a discount, remember, because we're using the mana steel cap. So let's pop you on. And we'll be able to see this guy going up. Yeah. That's so cool. I love it. It's going to make our life so much easier because I don't have to worry about going around and finding additional nodes for the time being while I make my big node over here, because this is the plan, to eventually make the node of all nodes. I think that's going to be what we're going to go with. Yeah, nice. This guy hasn't actually done any feasting yet. I wonder why he hasn't done any feasting. I wonder if it's because this is the dominant node and is the one that should be feasting. Let's quickly have a little looky-see inside our book to make sure we've placed down the right ones, because I do sometimes get confused with these. Where are you? Here we go. So, regular node stabilizer. So, this handy device has several beneficial effects placed on the node. Firstly, it prevents the node from draining Vis from other nodes. That's not what we want. We want it to be able to drain Vis, or being drained in turn. Yeah, that's not the one that we want. So, it has to be the advanced node stabilizer. Yeah. Firstly, advanced node stabilizers perform all of the functions of a lesser version with a few major differences. Firstly, they still prevent lesser nodes from having their Vis drained, but it does allow stabilized nodes to drain the Vis from lesser ones. I know why this one isn't draining. Because this one is a pale node. It's not a stable node. I'm pretty sure, though, this guy here helps stabilize. Let's have a look. First, they still prevent. Secondly, it has a higher chance to improve unstable and fading nodes. Unfortunately, the costs a lot more power from the stabilized node, still not enough to drain Vis from it. But even the brightest node will have its recharge rate almost completely negated. Okay, well that's not that bad. Cool. Alright, so we're probably going to have to wait for this node to fix itself before we can do that. Before we can actually do, you know, any Falmic stuff with it. Let's have a quick look inside our Falmic bag. Where are you? Here you are. If we grab this out, we should be able to see it. Yeah, so that's a pale node. And we have a regular normal node. Oh, I haven't learned these yet. Hey, lovely jubbly. There's a few things here I haven't actually learned yet. So we want to make sure we do that. Get that one out of the way. I think there's actually the thing under here that we haven't learned yet as well. I don't think I did this. No. Cool beans. Alright guys, well that's gonna be that for today's episode. A little bit of a quicker one. I kind of got everything I wanted to do done fairly quickly. Which isn't that bad. But what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to take this node out of here, because I don't mind it being fixed up, you know. It will hopefully improve the node, but I don't really want to wait for that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this node from out of here and pop this one in there. And then I will go ahead and start adding additional nodes on all the corners so that we can start getting together one big fat node. And then we'll be able to use P2P tunnels. Well, they actually have a specific type of tunnel for this guy. If we have a look down here, you'll find this here, the Vis Relay Interface. So having discovered the Vis Power Network, you can pursue the means of linking your digital system to this network. After observing how Vis flows through the network of Vis relays, you believe you can construct a digital device to perform a similar function by utilizing the peer-to-peer capabilities of the digital network to improve Vis into the network. However, it cannot be stored. So we can use a P2P network plus a balance shard to make a Vis Relay interface, and then we can place a Vis Relay on the interface, and we should be able to accept the charge node's power, so that we can then charge our wand inside our system. We will need to use a memory card to be able to connect the two together, but that is going to be how we're going to do that. Oh yeah. Cool beans, guys. Alright, well that's going to be after today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comment section, and I shall see you guys soon. Have yourself a great day. Have a good one as always, and bye-bye.